Okay, here's how you are going to use Apple Photos to edit your rule of thirds photo. You don't have a lot of photos yet, but I know hopefully you have at least one. And if not, you'll be able to get more, but if you can find one and use this for your post for now, then you can follow these instructions. So first thing you want to do is find a photo that fits your needs. So you want something that is going to follow the rule of thirds, or it's going to be close enough where you can make it follow the rule of thirds. So I'll use one of these caterpillars. And I'm going to go to the Edit Photo button. And there are a few things you can do in Photos. So you want to start by looking at the Adjust menu. And this is where you're going to get most of your settings that you can play around with to get the best of your photo. Generally, you're going to see these options. And you can also add a few more. So I like to have these set up: my histogram, light, color, black and white, sharpen, white balance, and levels. And I saved that as my default. And so light is gonna help you get the best exposure. And if you open up your categories, you can sort of see the adjustments that you can make. In particular, you have exposure, which will control sort of the overall exposure of your photo. This was actually overexposed. Your highlights are going to control your lighter values. Shadows, obviously, are going to control your darker values. So those are some good basics to take a look at. And of course, you have contrast. And so play around with it. See what you can do to get the best results for your photo. You also have color. I'm not going to go over this too much in detail, but saturation, of course, is your sort of intensity of color. Contrast, again, is going to be your darks and your lights and the balance between those two things. And then cast is going to be, you can kind of make your photo a little cooler, meaning more blues and greens, and then warmer, sort of yellowish. And then you have some other options, again, that I added on there. I've already edited this, so I'm going to click on Done. Now here's the part where, sorry, I'm not going to click on Done. I'm going to go now back to the Crop option. And so this is pretty useful because you can use this to improve your composition if maybe the initial shot didn't work as well as you had hoped. And sometimes you'll have a photo and it's kind of crooked. So you can use this to rotate it. So if you see the horizon maybe in your photo and it's slightly crooked, then you can kind of just rotate that to straighten that out. But more importantly, you can crop it. Now, what I want actually, though, is to kind of capture this photo with this grid here. So I'm not going to crop it because this caterpillar is already on this rule of thirds line. I just actually want to take a screenshot with this grid on it. So here's what I'm going to do. So if you are on that crop tool and if you roll over the actual image, you just click on it, you'll get your grid to appear for a little bit. You don't actually have to crop it. You can, if you need to adjust your image and get it so that it fits the rule of thirds, you can crop it. What I would do, if you're going to crop it, make sure you keep your aspect ratio at original. That way you don't change the ratio of your image, and then you can move that vertical line to wherever you need it to be. Now I don't need to crop this because it's already on my subject. So if that's the case, then I'm just gonna click on my image to get that grid to appear. And when it's on the screen, I'm gonna press Command Shift and 3 on the keyboard really quickly. So I'll do that now. So I'll click Command Shift 3. That's going to take a screenshot that should appear on your image. And I'll open that up. There it is. And now what I can do, I can actually drag, I'm going to hit done here. I can drag that screenshot now back into Photos. There it is. And I can crop out all the rest of this stuff. So just the same thing we did last time. I'm going to crop. I don't want the rest of the screen. I just want the image with the grid on it. Just like that. Now I can hit done. Now I have my image with this grid on it. I'm going to drag this one to my desktop just to save it. There it is. And now I can go to my blog and I can add that in. Now to add an image to your blog, you're going to just click here where it says Add Content. I'm going to go Media. You can drag that straight in and just drop it in. And then I can insert it. And now I have that grid and my rule of thirds example. And of course, as you already started, you can define the rule of thirds. And there you go. I'll hit save, and we're done.